What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something that I was not expecting to buy in 2025, but here we are. I had to pick it up. I've been getting more into retro gaming lately, and this is one that kind of eluded me when it first dropped, but I went ahead and picked this up, the Nintendo Wii U. And honestly, this may be one of the best retro game pickups if you're on a budget, so let's get right into it. So today I'm breaking down why I decided to buy a Wii U in 2025, what makes this console way better than people remember, and whether it's worth hunting down today. But enough of all that, let's get right into it, let's go. So the question is, why buy a Wii U in 2025? Why buy a Wii U period? Because as we all know, Wii U did not do well and they didn't have a huge amount of games on them. They just have some good games, but that's not a huge amount. But like I said, this is probably one of Nintendo's rare fails, but it still was a good console in my opinion. And also retro gaming has kind of blown up. Look at the GameCube. And Nintendo Wii U is kind of like the last one that's kind of undervalued in my opinion. You still can buy the Wii for a pretty reasonable price and get that game for a reasonable price as well. But the Wii U to me is still underrated and underappreciated. And the price on this is still at a really good price. Like I said, you can probably get a Wii U for $100 or a little bit under. I got mine for a little bit under $100 at around $80. So I think that's a really good deal. And especially if you're trying to get retro games and play some old school retro games. I think the Wii U plays Wii and Wii U games, so you still have some pretty good stuff. Checking eBay listings right now for Wii U's. And like I said, you can get them for reasonable prices. Nothing too crazy, nothing too bad. Even well under retail was when this console originally dropped. With retro gaming right now, that's kind of unheard of in certain aspects. Look at the handhelds; those are really going through the moon. You can get a GameCube for a good price, but the games to me are the reason why that console is kind of going up a little bit. Same thing with the Wii. You can get a Wii for a good price, but some of the Wii games just jumped up. And unless you want to get a Switch, we know. I mean, Nintendo decided to up the price on Switches this year when they dropped the Switch too, so that makes no sense. And then look at the other consoles. Xbox has their new hardware is price-wise, it's crazy. You can get some of the older hardware for a pretty good price as well. But 360 games, for whatever reason, is starting to creep up on the prices a little bit as well. But like I said, this generation, which was the Xbox One, the Wii U, and the PS4, this generation to me was always going to be underrated because all three of these consoles made some very questionable choices. But let's get down to nitty gritty. We all know what happened with the Wii U. It sold very poorly. It was marketed very strangely. And I think if they had had a different name other than the Wii U, people would have bought more of them. Because people already had the Wii, a lot of casual gamers had Wii's already. And just naming it the Wii U, people thought it was just this pad, the gamepad, which makes sense because all it really showed was the gamepad. So by them giving you this, calling it the Wii U, people thought you're just getting a gamepad to play with your Wii. And that was horrible marketing in my opinion. And that was the main reason why, in my opinion, it undersold. But as a collector, when something undersells, it becomes more rare further down the line. A lot of these were given to kids, a lot of them were destroyed. And now, like I said, they didn't sell a whole lot of them. Well, they didn't sell a whole lot of them. And that means the ones that survive should be able to go up in price, especially if you can get one in box, and especially if you get one that's very clean and almost mint. I got mine, which I would say is near mint almost. Like I said, it also has some games on there that was kind of nostalgic, and that's the thing. When it doesn't sell well, it becomes more rare. When you have some games that were kind of nostalgic, that kind of helps as well, and it's a pretty cool console overall. But when it comes down to it, one of the biggest reasons I pulled the trigger on the Wii U is because of the price. It's a retro console that has a really good price and has some games that I wanted to get into. A lot of Mario games, Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and just some really cool games overall that I think really add up to a console that was underappreciated and is still underappreciated, going for a really good price and something you can play with your TV on or with it off. Like I said, this was slotted between the Wii and the Switch, and it has the concepts of what made the Switch great, just in-house. I would say you couldn't take it out of the house because it still had to have the main system with it. And that was a limitation that at the time was not, in my opinion, a limitation because this is not meant to be a portable handheld. This is supposed to be a handheld that you can use in-house with the gamepad and play with the TV on or without, or to play some games using this on and off the TV, which is, in my opinion, was very creative and very nice. It's just that, like I said, they did a bad job of marketing this thing. And you better believe, when people start really catching on and kind of going back and looking at the games that dropped with the Wii U, This will go up in price eventually. It will go up in price eventually, but as of right now, it's still pretty low. Who knows? It may not go up, but I think definitely in the future it will go up. So if you want to get it, I say jump on it now while it's still pretty low. Next up, let's talk about some of the games that dropped on it. Some of the games I really wanted for the console. Of course, it does play Wii games, so it is backwards compatible, but it does have some games that are specific to this console that I had to pick up. The ones I had to pick up were Yoshi's Woolly World, which is pretty cool. Never played this before. Pokken Tournament, which is dope. Hyrule Warriors. Super Mario 3D World. And of course, Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. Not the most hype version of the game. Of course, we all know Melee is the best, but this one ain't bad at all either. This is the next step before we got to Ultimate, and this was a pretty good game. Of course, there are more games in the collection that I do want to get, and like I said, most of the games for the Wii U are reasonably priced. I don't think I paid, I think maybe Hyrule Warriors is the most expensive game I bought here when it was $10. So going on eBay, you can find the games for $10 or less. In most cases, in some games, you will have to pay a little bit more for them. A couple other games that I think are very notable you should pick up are Xenoblade Chronicles X, Nintendo Land, and Star Fox Zero. I think those are pretty good as well as Zombie U. And I will be getting those eventually, but like I said, these are the ones I had to get right now, and I will be going double dipping back and get some more of them. And of course, you have the remakes for the Zelda games, Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. So you get better games. You have games that were released on the GameCube and the Wii, and now they're in HD. So it was a better way of upgrading your games. So it's pretty cool. And those games do cost a little bit more than $10, but still a really cool game that you can get for a pretty good price, even though we know they did drop again on the Switch. One of the downsides to this is you cannot go and buy games on the market anymore. The market's there for it, and online for it, I think it's pretty much dead too. So, of course, this console came out a while ago, so a lot of the stuff for it is pretty much over. I think this was dropped in early 2013, 2014 time. Of course, we're not able to go online and do anything with the online play on this thing. But either way it go, it's a nice console to have in-house, play with your people, your friends, and everybody that's there in your house, like the old school days, couch co-op. And of course, like I said, the main attraction for this thing was this thing right here, the gamepad. This was the predecessor to the Switch. This thing walked so the Switch could run. Like I said, there's a lot of pretty cool stuff on this. It even had a camera, which the Switch doesn't have. But either way it go, you can do a lot of good things with this gamepad, and this is one of the best things about this console. And like I said, this is the same thing that killed it because nobody knew that it was a separate thing. If you take this Wii U name off of it and name it the Nintendo Super Wii or Super something else, the Super U, I don't know. They could have did anything else, and I think it would have sold better and really showcase this thing. They did showcase it, but they didn't showcase it enough. And like I said, it's not as powerful. It's not what the Switch is, and they did a good job with this thing. And it helped people out, it helped kids out when somebody else is watching TV or something, and you wanted to play the game. You can play it right directly on this with most games. So that was always a plus. And like I said earlier, as a collector, getting something that maybe in the future a lot more rare than a lot of people want to admit, and a lot more rare than a lot of other Nintendo consoles, because this is one of the ones that failed, as well as the Virtual Boy. And other than that, the Power Glove or something like that, as far as a console, Nintendo don't have flops. NES, Super NES, N64, the Wii, the GameCube, the Switch, they don't really have flops. We'll see if the Switch 2 is, but I don't think it will be. But they don't have flops. The only ones you can say really is the Virtual Boy and the Wii U, just because they marketed it wrong. So adding that to the collection, like I said, for a really good price, it has good games, and also the fact that it's nobody really talking about it. Nobody's really playing Wii U, really, are they? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are in the comments going to say, I do play the Wii U, and I have a modded one and all that kind of stuff. But I just want the basic thing. I think it's dope. I think it's cool. And of course, I had to get the Black Deluxe version of it. And like I said, I only paid $80 for it. So it's a cool console to have in a collection and just play from time to time. And at the end of the day, this is the last time really that Nintendo really tried something weird. You know what I'm saying? Like the Switch is not really weird. It's a straightforward console. There was a lot of cool stuff with it. But this is just kind of funky and weird. And like nobody was doing anything like this. Now you can get people that's trying to make stuff similar to the Switch, but not like the Switch, but close enough. But this, nobody's making anything like this. Same thing with the Wii. The Wii and the Wii U were so different, in my opinion, than most other consoles. And to me, they kind of put it on another category for me that's pretty dope. So at the end of the day, was this worth buying in 2025? Yes. I think it really is. It has some fun games on it. I've found myself playing this more than my Switch lately, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I think it's a really dope console that they did a good job with. They just could have changed a thing here and there, and I think it would have been cool. Like I said, if the online play was still available, the Wii market was still available for this. The Nintendo shop, I'm sorry, is still available for this. It would even put this a little bit higher. But as of right now, I think I give a lot of stuff 7 out of 10. But I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And I think that would have pushed it a little bit higher, probably 8 or 9 out of 10. But I think this is a really good buy in 2025 and going into 2026. If you want to get some Nintendo games or play Wii games and not have to play Wii games on the TV, I mean, you still need the nunchucks and stuff. But either way it go, I think it's a dope console. Go on eBay if you want to get one, and definitely do your research. Definitely do all the research you can do, and make sure if you do buy a console, make sure it's clean. Make sure you buy from a good seller, and make sure everything about it is dope. Everything about it is on point. Don't just go in there and click and buy one because you see the price low. Definitely do your research. But like I said, it's a cool console, cool concept that Nintendo decided to make. And I like it. So let me get back to playing my games. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell as well so you never miss a video. And like I said, let me know if you pick one up. Let me know if you still play the Wii U. That's all I got for you on this one. Peace. Perfect.